Welcome to this edition of Backstage Pass with Leah Chang. Prospect Musicals and National Asian Artists Project are presenting a one-night-only concert presentation of Māyā the Musical on Thursday, November 21st at 7 p.m. at the Peter Norton Symphony Space. Māyā features book and music by Cheeyang, book and lyrics by Eric Sorrels with direction by J. Maliakel. The duo will receive the 20th Annual Fred Ebb Award for Aspiring Musical Theater Songwriters in December. Leading the cast as Māyā is Sabrina Shah, joined by principal performers Meetu Chilana, Ruchir Khazanchi, Michael Maliakel, Yamuna Meleth, and Sorab Wadia, with Deven Kolluri, Jonathan Raviv, Sushma Saha, Jasmine Sharma, and National Asian Artists Project's chorus members.
Come see Māyā the Musical!
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What an honor to be receiving the Fred Ebb Award.
I know.
Where were you and what went through your mind when you found out?
The foundation called me and told us that, really told me that we won the award, and they were like, you have to go tell Eric. And I was like, sure. And I was literally working in the morning. It was really early in the morning, and Eric and I had a call scheduled to talk about Māyā literally like 5 minutes after the call. So I called Eric and I said, Meher was also on the call, so I was like, we have to record this. So Eric hopped on the call, we were recording it, and I told Eric that we won the award, and we all freaked out right there and then. And it was a huge surprise because I know so many incredible writers, and I knew a few of them were finalists for the award, and I love all of them, and so it just came as a shock and a huge honor, really. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, today we're here to talk about Māyā because it's being produced. We're going to have a special concert of it at the Symphony Space on the 21st.
Yes.
I'd like to know what inspired you to create Māyā.
This is a question that we actually have sat and asked ourselves a lot of times because a lot of people ask us, both of us are not Indian, why are we writing an Indian story? And the kernel of the idea stemmed from when we first started writing Māyā, we really wanted to write an adaptation of Shakespeare's play. The play that we were drawn to was Midsummer Night's Dream. Eric knew that I wanted to write an Asian story, and at the time, it felt like Titania and Oberon were fighting over this Indian changeling child, and that was really interesting to us. And it felt like, Mother India and Britain fighting over the sovereignty of India, basically. And as we did our research, we came across this incredible activist. Her name is Sarojini Naidu. She was a poet, she was a writer, and she marched alongside Gandhi. In every photo that you see of Gandhi in the Salt March, you can see Sarojini Naidu right there. And a lot of people don't really know who she is, and the big question that we were asking ourselves at the time, I was having a huge existential crisis, and at the time I said, the world is falling apart. Why the fuck are we writing musicals? What is the point of all of this? And so we set out to try to answer that question with Māyā, trying to understand, is there an intersection between art and activism? Is there a time where words could truly matter? And,
Well, there's always an
Exactly.
intersection between art and activism.
Exactly. And I think Māyā is our little exploration into a time of turmoil, a time of huge struggle, and the parallels of what was happening not even 100 years ago, like 70, 80 years ago, is still happening today. And it was intrinsically a very powerful story. And as someone who is very interested in untold stories in the Asian diaspora, it was a piece that just spoke to our values so much that we decided to pursue it.
I would like to know what it means to you to be an Asian American theater maker in this time.
I think the reason why I started to write was because I never saw myself in any of the stories told on stage. This will be my 10th year writing, actually going into my 10th year of actually pursuing musical theater writing. And in the last 10 years, I feel like everything is slowly shifted and we're trying not to go back. I mean, this is such a Kamala statement, and given the circumstances, it's hard because we really don't want to go back. We don't want to go back to a time where we're erased, where we're forgotten, where we're just a token in an ensemble, you know? As someone who creates, the reason why I started creating was because I said, hey, I have the tools. When I went to college, I learned the tools to start writing, and I seem to have an inclination towards storytelling that people really are drawn to. And I said, you know, I'm just gonna go where the river takes me. I never ever thought the musical theater was gonna be a part of my life. I didn't grow up with musical theater. And I didn't ever think that I would ever be a writer. I was always a singer first. Performing has always been what I loved. And to take a step back and step into the creator position was a very huge privilege, but also felt like a calling, because it felt like until many, many, many more people are doing it, I feel like there is a responsibility to kind of carry that torch forward and open doors for people to come in and join us in this party. You know what I mean? Like, the Asian diaspora is not a monolith. We all have completely different stories to tell and ways of telling them that would be very unique to each and every one of us. And so I feel an immense honor and privilege to be able to do it. And at the same time, I'm excited by the questions that I have. I always find writing a way of exploring the questions that I don't have answers to. So.
Well, congratulations on being part of the solution.
Thank you.
And winning the Fred Ebb Award.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the
Thank
Fred
you.
Ebb Award. What
Yeah.
does it mean for you to be receiving it?
Well, the award is really two components. There's like a financial component, which is really significant.
Always helpful.
Yeah. I mean, for money is like the biggest obstacle to producing new work all the time. Like, there's so many shows that people believe in, but just don't have the funding. So there's that part that we already have, and as we continue development after this, we can put some of that money toward future development, which is really exciting. And then there's the institutional component of people in your industry that you admire. I mean, Fred Ebb's legacy himself as a lyricist and me as a lyricist, Cabaret was one of the first shows I saw when I moved to New York. And it literally changed the way I saw the world. And so to have that institution and the people who have received it in the past to be in their company, it's actually still really surreal to me. I'm still processing it, but I'm honored and grateful. And I know that I wouldn't have gotten it without my amazing collaborator, Cheeyang, and their music. And it excites me about the songs that we're gonna write with the momentum behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Māyā. What inspired you to write Māyā?
This was our thesis project at NYU when we were in grad school together. We initially were trying to adapt a Shakespeare play, A Midsummer Night's Dream. And as we dug deeper down the rabbit hole of how we wanted to adapt it, we found a historical event called the Salt March and a poet named Sarojini Naidu. And from there, we were really excited at this theatrical idea of the Salt March and how to represent that on stage. And this story of India and Britain and their complicated relationship and a person caught in between those worlds. And so this character named Māyā, whose name means dream and illusion, sort of formed out of that. And we created this whole historical fiction world where none of these characters are real, but the truth of what happened is. Mm-hmm. And that's the line we're trying to toe in a really theatrical way.
And what can audiences expect when they come on Thursday to Symphony Space?
You know, in New York, anywhere, it's really rare to see things put on these days that have a cast of performers the size that we're going to have. We're going to have a 22-person ensemble, a 10-person principal cast, a live band with brand new orchestrations. And, you know, Ragtime just opened at the City Center recently, mm-hmm. and it was epic to see that kind of like old generation of musicals where you had just like this wall of sound, and we're going after the same thing. I think people are going to be excited by the sheer size of what we're going to do for one night, you know.
Hello, my name is Meher Kaur, and I am directing Māyā.
Meher.
Yes.
How long have you been directing? How long have you been working with Cheeyang and Eric?
I have been working with Cheeyang and Eric for almost a year now. Cheeyang approached me last November, I think, so almost exactly a year ago, and we did a reading together in Los Angeles earlier this year.
What does it mean to you to be telling this particular story?
It means so much. It means so much to me. As a director, you often look for an entry point into every piece that you work on. And sometimes it's more challenging than others. For this, it took me all but 1 second. I grew up performing musical theater, and it was my first love. But the foundation of my arts education was really Indian classical music. So for me, discovering a piece where the two meld, and don't really butt heads. Like when you listen to the music, it really is one. It's the two together. It felt like such a great symbol of where it come from. And for me, that was really the entry point into the story, is through the music.
And how familiar were you with the storyline?
Yeah, not super familiar. I have an education around partition, particularly because my family comes from Punjab, which is a region that was pretty much split in half during partition in 1947. But I didn't have as much of a background on the Salt March and on Gandhi's struggle, and specifically on Sarojini Naidu, which is the poet that Māyā is based on.
Okay. And what does it mean to you to be an Asian American theater maker in this time?
It feels really exciting. It feels exciting because I finally feel like I'm in community. I think when I started my career, I felt siloed, I felt pigeonholed, I felt very perceived, and I didn't really know who to talk to about that, who to process with. And I actually left New York for about 4 years, and I'm back now. And coming back, seeing the community around me is just so incredible.
Well, I know it really makes a difference coming back as a director.
Yeah.
Because you have a seat at the table and you can make decisions.
Yes.
But I also want to celebrate working with Prospect Musicals and the National Asian Artist Project, because this is what they foster and support. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Backstage Pass with Leah Chang. Until next time.